Somebody asked, what's the very first step to learning a handstand? Well, I'll give you the very first 3 steps. The very first 3 things that you should learn if you want to do a handstand. And the first thing, well, you have to make sure that you have the right wrist flexibility. You've got to be able to align your arms with your hands, just like this. Just like you would be as if in a handstand. So if you're right here with it, and you can't quite get your arms above your wrists, then you have to improve your wrist flexibility. And you can do this by doing certain wrist stretches. And here are my favorite wrist stretches. First, with our hands facing forward, about shoulder width apart, we're just going to lean forward and put pressure on them. And the more forward that you lean, the more that you're going to feel the stretch. And you want to lean to a point to where it feels slightly, you feel a slight discomfort. Not to the point to where it hurts, because it's really easy to overdo this and you don't want to strain yourself, because that'll just set you back further. If you're wanting to improve your flexibility, then hold each stretch for at least 30 seconds. And if you're just doing this for a warm-up before, let's say, a handstand session, you're just warming up your wrist, then hold each stretch for only about 5 to 10 seconds. So the first direction would be like this. And then the opposite way. And if this feels too uncomfortable at first, then you can put one hand down first and use the other hand to support that wrist. So we've got forward, the opposite way, and then we've got with our hands facing down. And then our hands facing down, with fingers facing towards us. So that's the 4 main directions. And you can kind of play around with each one. Once you start getting used to it, you can add a little bit of rotation. Maybe and that's pretty much how I warm up my wrists before each training session. Remember, if you're increasing flexibility, hold each stretch for at least 30 seconds. If you're just doing it for a warm-up, then only about 5 to 10 seconds, and then switch stretches. And included in this first step is also shoulder flexibility. You're going to have to be able to get your arms straight up like this, aligned with your body. And if you can't do that just yet, then you can do certain shoulder stretches for this. And I'll put a link in the description to a video that I just made of my favorite shoulder stretches. The second step, and this one is often overlooked, but I'm gonna put it up at step number 2 because I think it's really important. It's the hand positioning, or rather the hand grip. And so I'm gonna be right here so you can see it. Starting off with our hands about shoulder width apart, facing forward, we're gonna wanna scoop our fingers up just like this to where the flat ends of our fingers are on the ground, just like they are starting off. However, we're gonna bend at this middle knuckle right here. So not this one. We're not bending at this joint at the tips of our finger. We're bending at this middle joint. And we're creating 2 points on the surface, on our palm and then on the ends of our fingers. So when we're balancing in a handstand, whenever we're falling forward, we use the ends of our fingers to push harder on the floor to help bring us back to the center. And whenever we're falling back towards our feet, we release that pressure, or release some of the pressure from the ends of our fingers. We transfer it and we put more pressure on our palms to bring us back forward to the center. And by the way, if a finger or two, like your pinky finger, doesn't want to do it, this pinky does it just fine. This pinky will not do it. If your pinkies won't bend right there, then you'll be fine. As long as your three main fingers right here will bend, and you can get them flat, the ends of the fingers flat, then you'll be good. So I'm going to show you up close of my hands, of me balancing, holding a handstand, just so you can see that these are constantly at work. You're never just completely still, but the ends of your fingers and your palms are doing all of the work, most of the work, to make any final adjustments to help you balance, because the rest of your body should be still and stable. As you can see, the ends of my fingers and my palms were hard at work the entire time, keeping me balanced. And so that's why that finger grip, that little spidey grip, is very important. So get that down, and that's why that's step 2. And finally, of the first 3 things that you should learn if you want to learn a handstand, the third one would be getting used to putting pressure on your wrist. It's like a continuation of your wrist flexibility. And if you want to get used to putting pressure on your wrist, you're going to have to get used to putting a lot of it. Besides from doing a handstand against the wall, that's a great way. Besides from doing that, here are my 3 favorite exercises for improving your wrist strength. The first one would be just to hold a frog position, just like this. And some people find it easier to put your knees on the outside of your arms like this, and some people find it easier to put your knees directly on your arms, just like this. However way is more comfortable for you, it doesn't matter. Both ways are fine. But keep in mind, when you're doing the frog stand, incorporate that finger grip that we just went over. Get that good finger grip on the floor so you can just get it like you can get it into your head. You'll just get used to doing it. And get into that frog stand. And practice holding that. When I first started off, I made it a goal to hold that for at least 30 seconds and then for a minute. So you can practice that and time yourself if you want. The second exercise are monkey hops. And again, you can incorporate that finger grip. It's about shoulder width apart. We're just doing like little Tarzan hops. And eventually, this is going to help improve your strength and your wrist strength, as well as your push strength a little bit. You can start slowing down and controlling the hop. You can start hopping higher. Until eventually you'll be hopping into a handstand. And the third exercise that you can do for improving your wrist strength is the push-up. And this is also going to improve your upper body strength, which goes a long way with learning a handstand. And so the way I like to do my push-up is starting off with my shoulders fully protracted. Protraction means your shoulder blades are going away from the spine. Retraction, pinching your shoulder blades together. Protraction, pushing your shoulder blades away. So I'm starting off in a hollow body position. That's fully protracted shoulders, and that's a posterior pelvic tilt. So you're just tilting your pelvis backwards, squeezing your glutes, so squeezing your butt cheeks really tight, squeezing your abs really tight, and you're just creating that flat lower back. I also like to point my toes sometimes. It's fine if you're like this. I prefer to be like this. And you can can practice these two different ways. You can keep that protraction, or at least keep it slightly, or you can go down to full retraction, pinching your shoulder blades together. So either like this, or matter of fact, I would practice them both ways. And if you can't do a push-up on your feet yet, just bring it down to your knees like this. Do the same thing. Remember, not like this. Get that butt tucked in. Hold your shoulders out. Then retract them. Push them back out each time. And keep in mind, when you're doing your push-ups, don't let your elbows flare out to the side like this. Keep your elbows nice and tight. Nice and tight to the sides of your body. Those are the first 3 steps to learning a handstand. And if you want a complete in-depth handstand tutorial, I'll put a link in the description. I have 4 videos made that go through the handstand learning process. It's in depth, everything you need to know about learning handstand. And I'll also put in the description a link to the shoulder stretching video, because you're gonna have to work on that shoulder mobility. All right, I hope this helps, and good luck with your handstand journey.